Alright guys, welcome back to VALORANT News. The World Championship is long done and dusted. We're gaming in the champions, and as a result, basically every team around the world has to consider what they are going to do next season to try and potentially improve their roster. There are some changes to the map set coming for Sentinels especially, that might be kind of interesting, but Yay has returned to stream over the last couple of days. A few highlights emerging over the last couple of days, certainly with him on the Sentinel role, and therefore questions have been raised. Where might he potentially go? Currently an RFA, restricted free agent, from that Bleed Esports team, but Yay says he's in a much better headspace now, and is obviously looking to make that return. Very much intrigued to your thoughts on where he might go in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoy, subscribe if you are new. As always, some cool reaction, of course, to the World Cup. I'm not gonna lie, I feel like this picture, this setup, gonna go kind of harder here from Kangkong, but there it is, of course, in bed with the Champions Trophy that he won and was the absolute dominant world-class MVP of just a couple of days ago. Zekken back in business to the US of A, streamed today unless the jet lag KOs, he says. So, you know, of course, those guys are getting back there. Big effort, obviously. An interesting confirmation here from VALORANT on the Mongolian region, opening up in Southeast Asia here, and the Mongols, of course, a very notable organization in that region, certainly in Counter-Strike over the last few years. They are looking to compete in VALORANT Champions, or Challengers, sorry, as a result of that. So, yeah, they basically confirm, and they do this nice little announcement here with the VALORANT logo as well, saying that's exactly what they're going to be up to from here on forwards. There's also some rumours as well on Gorillas, a former head coach of Team Vitality, looking to potentially move to KLY. So some interesting developments for sure in that European region, and this most certainly is one of them. That Gorilla over to KOY is a possibility. So, you know, they're going to make some moves. Vitality have to consider making some moves as well. This an interesting few words from Sadak on stream yesterday, because there was lots of questions were loud this season. The changes they made, the changes they could have made, the changes they didn't make in the end. And Sadak says that basically it's going to be, you know, a new stage from here on out. Things are going to change around. Nothing has been decided, he says, for sure. But clearly over the last few weeks, there's been conversations had. And things aren't going to be the same on that loud roster going into next season, right? Whether Sadak is still there, you'd imagine that he probably will be. But, you know, they did not have a good season this year compared to winning champions in 22, coming, what, third at champions in 23. This year not even making it to the World Championship. That was obviously a big step back for them, and their entire season wasn't that good either. So clearly something's got to give. There's been talk about that Brazilian scene in general. Is there a possibility of a Sassy return or something like that? You know, that Sassy Pancada duo ship returning again. Maybe not out of the realms of possibility, right? Depending what happens with Sentinels, which we'll get to right about now. This is just, you know, trolling again here from Safe Posting, so don't take any of this serious. The only reason why I'm showing this stuff is just because it's interesting to at least contemplate some of the roster ideas that he's coming up with, right? Because, you know, this one is interesting. Zekken is not going to go anywhere from Sentinels. Neither is Gen.G, neither is Tens, neither should Zeltis. Sassy, you could argue, should stay as well. I mean, look, it was their most successful year as a team, winning Masters Madrid in the way that they did, but then, you know, the fall off they had in the middle of the season, trying to rise up towards the end of the year was impressive, right? They qualified for champs. It wasn't clean, but they qualified for champs, and then they came top 4 at champs. They'll feel like they maybe could have gone one further. A solid season, all things considered, for sure, and probably a season which you do run it back for next year, certainly because Split is coming back into the map rotation, which obviously was a phenomenal map for those guys. The question has always been around Sassy, really. It's not like he played poorly this season at all, but you know, there's been some talk about where he is in his career, whether a return to a Brazilian team might be what he wants to do. Certainly now Pancada's gone, and there's some other possibilities there. So, you know, people have thrown around, certainly Safe Posting thrown around, what if Leo was to come in there instead from that Fnatic team? It's something to at least think about and to consider, and the Sentinels say greatness comes in many forms, right? So Sassy was a great player for these guys this year, no doubt, and, you know, if they run it back with their roster, that would make perfect sense. But whenever you've not won the World Championship, and of course you're trying to do so, and you're an organisation that wants to do so, you've always got to raise the question as to whether there could be something else to potentially consider. But as I say, these are the map pool returns. At the end of October, Lotus and Icebox are going to go, and Split and Pearl are coming back in. So I think some of the teams will have to consider this on some level before they make their rosters. You can never really know for sure, because who knows? Split might be in the end of October. It might be gone again by February, right? Like, you never really know. So if you're a team and you're Sentinels, you're saying, oh, we're a great Split team, great at retake and whatever. We've got to stick this roster together because that was a great map for us. What if they then remove it again? So I don't think you can rely on this, but I do think it's something of a pointer for these teams to say, well, you know, if we want to be good when the game comes out or when the season restarts, we want to ensure that maybe we're good at Split and Pearl, and if you've got reason to believe that you are, then maybe going down that route would make a fair bit of sense. This also from the NRG boys, because this is their roster, or at least a potential roster they might potentially want to field. So we've got Som, we've got Ethan, FNS, Crashies, and Demon 1, because of course Victor is now gone. So is that going to be your potential team of 5 for next year? Are they going to make some other change? It's interesting that Chet replies, because of course he does like a bit of Counter-Strike. He's no longer there though on NRG, right? He's not going to be their coach for the upcoming season. So is this an indication that that is going to be straight up their team of 5? It would make sense. I don't dislike the idea. There were rumors that like they are trying to bring Demon 1 back into their team, which just does make sense. Just the previous iteration didn't work, and maybe with an entire off season to prepare, NRG could be better set going into next season, right? But as FNS says, you know, losing a 12-5 lead, of course, we are going to be switching games. But I wanted to share here what Ye had to say on stream just the other day. He put the stream on for the first time in a while. He's been posting a highlight on his social media over the last few days, largely on agents like Cypher and on Killjoy trying out the Sentinel role, and we see from him here again, he says, look, he had a difficult time on Bleed. Clearly, you know, mentally he was going through a difficult time, lots of pressure, lots of difficult circumstances he was dealing with, certainly on that roster. And now he reckons things have moved in a positive direction. He's feeling much better. He doesn't want like sympathy for what happens. He feels like on some level, like, you know, he was maybe responsible for what happened, whatever. And clearly it wasn't a good time out there on Bleed. But he's now looking to make the return again back into the VCT, and is still a name that will be top of mind, and for good reason.
Stuff like that, because like, here's the thing. Here's how I feel, right? I feel like everyone has like their own shit that they're going through. Obviously that, you know, doesn't mean I still can't like go and talk about it, but like, listen, I don't want like pity on it, you know? Like I don't want pity in this kind of situation. It's just stuff that I was dealing with, both in like real life and in game, and you know, take some time to get through, but you know, I'm working through it. I think I'm in a much better spot than I was like, say like a few months ago though. That's what I'll say. Like I got like a lot of like my real life stuff and like some health stuff like taken care of, and I'm doing a lot better now. So I appreciate you guys like being like all concerned and stuff about that.
So Bleed confirmed they are making wholesale changes to their team. They confirmed this a little while ago now, that Deryon, Relta, Zest, and Ye. So, you know, even getting rid of Zest was a surprise to me. But Crazy Guy's going to stay. Everyone else is going to go, including, it seems, Ye as well. So Ye is a restricted free agent, which does make it more challenging. If he was a completely unrestricted free agent, to be fair though, they're paying him a lot of money, right? Like, we're pretty sure they paid him some big bag, you know, $500,000 a year over 2 years, whatever it was. And as a result of that, Ye is now in a position where he's still going to get paid on the bench of this roster. But I think for Bleed, do they want to pay Ye to sit on the bench for a year? Probably not. They'd probably prefer to sell him to another team, so they don't have to do that. But then again, another team coming in will be like, well, you guys probably don't want to sit him to, you know, pay him to sit on the bench for a year, so we can maybe not offer you that much in terms of buying him out of his contract. So, like, I think Ye should be in the conversation. We know that he's had his problems over the last couple of seasons, but I think there's still the potential in there for Ye to be one of the best players in the entire world. And the Cloud9 situation, the Bleed situation didn't go to plan, but we still know what he's capable of. I think he's shown what he's capable of still, and as a result, there will be teams interested. There will be conversations had with Bleed, and whether they can agree a fee or a buyout or whatever you want to say. That, I guess, is the next step here, really. But as he says, thanks for the love on the stream. First stream back, more to come, of course, as well. So, you know, in Ye's bio, it still says professional player for Bleed Esports, right? And it's still in his kind of header as well. So he's still on Bleed, technically, but more than likely not for that much longer, based on the way that things have looked over the last few weeks and where he might potentially go as well. This interesting too, back in 2022, Ye still tops the list for most kills at a single VALORANT Champions event. Now this, to be fair, somewhat depends on what groups you went through and what's happened there, and, you know, when you started and when you finished the tournament, if you made a run through the upper side of groups or the lower side, whether you went through the lower side of the bracket. So, you know, most kills is kind of a bit of a biased stat. But Ye in 2022 had 460. Aspas got to 446 in 2023. Even this year, Kankan got to 394, which wasn't as much as Rians or Miniboo got, but of course they made a longer run with Heretics through the loser side, so that kind of makes sense, I guess. But, you know, still some numbers here that Ye is absolutely topping up. And just looking back at the VALORANT World Championship, Edward won it, but they weren't in some respects the most impressive team of the tournament, at least in terms of, let's say, attack win rate. We had Heretics at 59% of their attacking rounds, very impressive. Fnatic at 58%, Edward at 57%, Gen.G at 56%, then it kind of drops off from there. And on the defensive side, Edward are actually second at 52 behind DRX, but of the teams that made it deep, Edward were the most impressive on their defensive side here, and one of the crucial reasons that they went on to win the entire thing and made that run all the way through the upper side. But very much interested your thoughts on all of this stuff in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, take care, and I'll see you next time.